Welcome to my video on ratios and proportions. So what is a ratio? A ratio compares two amounts. It tells how much of one thing there is relative to another. So let's look at a simple example. What is the ratio of 10 girls to 5 boys? So let's write that out. At the girls divided by the number of boys. And then we know that's 10 to 5. Now we can simplify this by dividing by the greatest common factor, So in this case, it's going to be 5, because 5 will go into both the numerator and the denominator of the ratio 10 over to 5. So divide by 5, divide by 5, and that's going to get us 2 to 1. So our ratio is 2 to 1 of boys to girls. And we can write this, there's multiple ways you can write these ratios, 2 to 1 or 2 colon 1, or just a fraction, 2 to 1. So there's a very simple example of what a ratio is. So what is a proportion? A proportion says two ratios are equal. So example, 1/2 is equal to 2 over 4. And we solve by cross multiplication. So if this is going to be our format here, then A divided by B is equal to C divided by D. Then we can cross multiply and we get A times D is equal to B times C. So let's look at a simple example. So in the example we have 3/4 is equal to X divided by 8. So now let's do our cross multiplication. So we're going to get 3 times 8 is equal to 4 times X. Now we can just work that out. 3 times 8 is 24. 4 times X is 4X divided by 4 divided by 4. And so that is 6, and that's equal to X. So there's our answer. So if we've got a ratio of 3 to 4, and we change it up to X over 8, what is X? X turns out to be 6, and 6 divided by 8 is the same fraction as 3 divided by 4. So that checks. Example number 1. A recipe uses 2 cups of flour for every 3 cups of sugar. How much flour for 12 cups of sugar? So our ratio of flour to sugar is equal to 2 to 3, because we know 2 cups of flour for 3 cups of sugar. Now, if we want to up the number of cups of flour to 12, so it's going to be 12. So this is going to be our proportion, where X is equal to the cups of flour. So now we cross multiply again, like that. So we're going to get 3 times X is equal to 2 times 12. So that's 3X is equal to 24. Divide both sides by 3. We get X, because these cancel out, is equal to 24 divided by 3, which is 8. So that's our answer. If we up the ratio to 12 cups of sugar, we're going to need 8 cups of flour. So that's our answer. Example 2. If 3 pencils cost $1.50, how much do 10 pencils cost? So let's look at our ratio to pencils to the cost. 3 pencils cost $1.50. Now if we want to up that to 10 pencils, what is that going to cost us? Where X is equal to the cost of 10. Do our cross multiplication again. So we're going to get 3 times x is equal to 10 times 1.5. So 3x is equal to 15. Divide both sides by 3. So x is going to be equal to 5. And that's $5. That's our units for 10 pencils. So this is our answer. Costs us $5 to get 10 pencils. If 3 pencils costs $1.50. Example 3. A map scales show that 1 inch is equal to 13.5 miles. How far is 3.5 inches on the map? So the map scale will be right there. That's just what it shows us. So we know from the scale that 1 inch on the map is 13.5 miles. That's our ratio. Now, if we were going to up this to, we want to go 3.5 inches on the map. How many miles does that represent? This would be like if you're trying to figure out a distance, like on a trip, for instance. We're going to do our cross multiplication again. And so we're going to get 1 times x is equal to 3.5 times 13.5. That's equal to 45.5, and that's going to be miles, because that's just x. So 3.5 inches on the map equates to 45.5 miles. Example 4. In a classroom, the ratio of boys to girls is 5 to 7. If there are 36 students total, how many are boys? Normally, we would be given the number of girls or boys and then asked to increase that number. But this time, they're not giving us the same information they normally give us, so we're going to have to try to figure it out. What we're going to have to try to figure out is the total. We're going to have to back into this. We're going to have to think about it a little bit. Total parts is equal to 5 plus 7 is equal to 12. So this is some information they kind of gave us, but we have to figure it out. Because we're trying to figure out this ratio of boys to the total. So what we're looking for is number of boys to the total. Because they've given us, there's 36 students, and they've given us the ratio to boys and girls. So we know the ratio of boys to girls is equal to 5 to 7. So that's the information that we do know. And what we want to find out is this x, and we know that 12 is the total, so that's the number of boys. And let's see, we actually know, let me get rid of that, that's going to be, we know the ratio of the boys to the total is 5 divided by 12, and that's going to be equal to how many boys do we have if we have a total of 36. So that's our total students. So now this is the problem we need to cross multiply, do our usual method. So we got 12 times x is equal to 5 times 36. So that's 12x, and 5 times 36 is 180. Now, divide both sides by 12. So we get x is equal to 180 divided by 12, so it's 15 boys. So that's our answer. We need 15 boys. Now let's kind of check that and see if our ratio is correct. Because we know the ratio is 5 to 7 boys to girls. So the number of boys we know is equal to 15. The number of girls should be the total of 36 minus 15 is equal to 21. So let's see if the ratio of boys to girls, this is a way of just checking our answer, is equal to 5 to 7? That's the question. Okay, so we know that the number of boys is 15, and we calculated as 21. So now let's look for the greatest common denominator here. And we can divide everything it looks like by 3. That's 5, and 21 divided by 3 is 7. So that checks. That is the correct ratio. Well, I hope you got something out of this example and this little video. If you did, give me a like, thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and thank you for watching.